Hear me out. Song Kang is the Korean version of Noah Centineo.
Yes, so much.
Welcome to the KDrama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive. And we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim. Alright, we're back with GyeongSeong Creature. Episodes 4 and 5. Ashley, gonna hit us with a little bit of K-culture tidbit today?
Okay, sure. So for these episodes, there's been the announcement that Song Kyung has announced his enlistment, or his intent to enlist into the military. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know who he is, one is very beautiful. But he is in the most recent drama, My Demon. He's the male lead. He is in Nevertheless, which we can baby rage about that another day. He's very infuriating. He's in Love Alarm, Sweet Home, if you like the more gory.
Mm-hmm. Navarella.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah.
It's one about the ballerina. Male ballerina.
But he's in a few other big dramas, and he's very, very popular. But
when we were upstairs earlier, I looked at Ashley and I said, hear me out. Song Kang is the Korean version of Noah Centineo.
Yes, so much. Definitely. He's very handsome, and he's very, very good at playing all these different characters. So yes, he has made his announcement, so
it's bittersweet.
It is bittersweet. Episode 4, Imprinting. So we open up with a string game, which we would call it Cat's Cradle, which then made me in my brain go, man, I hope I remember how to actually play that game. Don't know why my brain went there, but okay. So there's the string game, and ChaeOk is narrating, and she's talking about how as a child, her mom was talking about how you can make so many different shapes with just a single string. Mm-hmm. And to imagine all the possibilities that life can have depending on the decisions that you make. And we cut straight to TaeSang finding the arrow that was next to the window and begins to climb to the roof where ChaeOk and her dad currently are fighting off Japanese soldiers. Mm-hmm. And he sees the soldier pick up the gun and point it at ChaeOk, and he shoots him and saves her life, and then walks up and, I'm so sorry that I'm late. And we kind of just get this breath of relief for everyone of like, okay, nobody's dying yet.
Anymore.
So we cut to the police station, and Ishikawa is asking what the progress is on finding out where the fireworks were. They found out who it was, where they got them, and he's then informed that the fireworks were being shot near OnSeong Hospital. And so the whole police force pretty much is called up, and they find the location where these fireworks had been set off.
Well, and he kind of realizes what that implies too.
Of like, oh, hey.
This is probably TaeSang.
And that could be very bad news for where MyeongJa is.
That or, he
since that's what TaeSang is hired for. And in the distance, we see Mr. Gu and Mr. Wang driving away. Almost like we don't go too fast because we don't want them to hear us like speeding around. Mm-hmm. So they get away. And Ishikawa then asks the whereabouts of TaeSang, and Mori has the unfortunate news of, I lost him. I cannot find him. I don't know where he went. Mm-hmm. And we get a cut back to after TaeSang had the crap beat out of him. He ends up making his way towards the tailor shop, even though Mori is following him, and people knock into Mori, and he sneaks into the tailor shop, and he has had a suit made. He puts it on, and it is a suit so that he can pass as a rickshaw runner. And as he's putting the jacket on, he is hurting real bad. Like, he is not doing well. And he gets out to the runner that he has talked to and was like, okay, is it ready? I'm sorry, my stomach is...
No, my notes.
Oh, no.
My computer autocorrects so many things.
Oh, no.
In my notes, it says, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Taesong is busy trying to keel over from his massive stab womb. Womb.
And so he asks the runner if it is ready. And what has happened is he had earlier, when Mori was following him and was like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you in a rickshaw for 30 minutes just going around
Just
town?
cruising.
He was talking to the runner about creating a specific rickshaw compartment that is big enough to fit a human. And Taesong is now prepared to leave, and he, tells the rickshaw owner, like, he gives him money. He's like, I will return this back to you. And the runner takes his hat off and puts his hat on Taesong and is like, good luck. Well, this hat also is very effective in a disguise because enough people know who he is. And he is in his house and he's packing everything that he can. So in a bag, he's throwing a rope, some weapons, he grabs a box of matches, and then he stops and also just grabs a tin of cookies and just puts them all in a bag. And he walks out and Sachimoto tells him, I want to help you. Like, part of this, like, I can't do anything about what is going on there, but I want to help. And JunTaek also is asking, hey, one of my comrades has been arrested. I need to find him. So I need to come with you as well. And so we now have a whole group of people that are finding their way back in, and they do sneak in, is all of these plans that Taesong had made earlier in the day. And those are genius plans in a very, very short period of time to come up with.
Back at the lab, the doctor that ChaeOk had killed in order to prevent those children from being reported missing has been discovered. So as the team sits around planning this new logistical nightmare, with these children that they now have to figure out how to get out of this hospital, ChaeOk has, ChaeOk asks who has accompanied Taesong into the building, like who was a part of his team, because they're sitting around in the janitor's office or in the janitor's closet. And she is introduced to JunTaek, and then she asks who the other guy is, and it's Sachimoto, but Taesong doesn't acknowledge the fact that this is Sachimoto, that this is his end of the deal being fulfilled, because MyeongJa still is not
Don't know where she's at.
Been provided. Yeah, so Taesong is digging really deeply here in this moment to try to steel himself against the needs of these children.
Yes.
Because something in him wants to, but something in him is like, we cannot waste time on worrying about these other people because we're not going to make it out alive if we do this.
Right.
And that's just against every single instinct that he's ever had up to this point. And he has this moment where he is trying to convince ChaeOk that he just really doesn't care and is so emphatic that he forgets to breathe for like a full minute between his sentences.
Oh my goodness.
Speaks faster and faster. And then he just loses the argument anyway. He's finally met his match. ChaeOk is...
She's like, nah, bro. Absolutely not.
She's got a conscience. She doesn't care about who you are or your money. So the team, Sachimoto, he hides the children in his quarters, as well as everyone else in the party, and tries to cover up these macabre artworks on his wall, albeit not very successfully. Just the things that he's been asked to illustrate over the years of service that he's given to the Japanese military hospital here. One of the children walks into the little art room that he has behind these partitions, and she just screams upon seeing his little shop of horrors down there. And of course, the Japanese soldier, they're already looking for these kids, and he happens to be in the hallway. and hears her. And so TaeSang,
TaeSang walks into that
TaeSang walks
room.
over and grabs her right away and asks what she saw. And he, kind of guides her back into the bedroom, and he looks into the room and understands
Why?
what was going on, and is joined by ChaeOk. And now at this point, it's pretty obvious that, who this guy is. He has to reveal who it is, because she's like, who have you brought into your team, and why are you allowing this guy to be a part of what we're doing?
What's
and
going
he's
on?
like, this is Sachimoto. Surprise.
By the way, in case you wanted to know,
Congrats.
I did my job.
And we cut away and we see that Jungwon is sitting and talking with JunTaek back in the janitor's closet. And we can see that Jungwon has an identical talisman to the woman in blue that became the creature, which confirms for us as the audience that the creature is ChaeOk's mother.
Right.
Big moment.
Big, like not even just a big moment. This is almost like an earth-shattering moment, because we know what's coming now. When this information is going to be learned, because we know it now.
Right.
When that information is learned, it's going to be devastating.
Well, and it's going to completely change the way that they are able to address this whole problem of the creature, because it's not just a creature, it's
who
her
they've
mother.
been looking for.
So either they kill the creature and then they go, oh shoot, or they can't kill the creature because they're like, oh shoot.
It is a catch-22.
Yeah, there's no good way to go about this whole thing.
No, there is not.
But ChaeOk starts to drill Sachimoto, just kind of pleading with him almost. Like, do you have information? I've been looking for 10 years.
Well, and she shows him the picture that he has drawn of her mom. I mean, he has many pictures of her mom drawn, like from like earlier scenes. And
I think it was on the wall, wasn't it?
Or
Or
no,
did she have
it
the
was
one
on
in
his
her-
desk.
Okay.
He had many on his desk, but she had a copy of it because she had received that, or had found it
From the bar owner.
3 years earlier.
Oh, okay.
And the bar owner saw the picture, and that's when we saw that it was a Joseon
Because
woman.
they had shown it to the bar owner and she connected the dots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I got this picture. Like, is this your work? Because if it is, do you know where my mom is? Have you seen her? Do you know what's going on? And he's just like, I'm sorry. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Which we know that's not entirely true.
Right.
Because he does know. But he also knows that he cannot tell her this information. This is not...
He can't stand to be the bearer of bad news in this situation.
Well, and he didn't want to be a part of this torture anyway.
No, and I don't know. It's hard to understand his exact motivation, because on the one hand, it could be selfish simply because he's in survival mode.
Yeah.
And why get involved in any more drama than you already have? But on the other, I think it could be compassion, just because he's like,
This
I
is
can't
not the time.
see this undoing of your mind. I've already seen too much.
And we need to get these kids out of here. I'm hiding
Yeah.
them. I can get murdered for this.
Yeah.
Like, let's...
Murdered is a gentle word for
That is a
it.
very gentle word.
But essentially, as this is all happening, we see the creature is just like unaliving people left and right as part of Dr. Ichiro's efforts to tame this thing. Kato kind of finds the whole ordeal to be in bad taste. It feels a bit barbaric for him because he is kind of just like the refined, poised, sort of unhinged, but he has a reverence for the situation, where Dr. Ichiro is just kind of a murderer.
Oh, yeah. He's
just a psychopath.
He's just insane.
Yeah.
insane is, again, too nice of a term for his current behavior.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of the show, there's a lot of simultaneous scenes going on.
Plot points being made.
There's a lot of things happening back and forth. But we cut back to TaeSang, and he has walked out of the room, and he goes to the oldest boy of the children that ChaeOk has saved and asks him if he has ever pulled a rickshaw before. And he's like, yeah, I've done it a couple times. And TaeSang puts his jacket on the boy and tells the kids that they're going to play a game of hide and seek, and hands one of the little girls the tin of cookies and says, if you win and no Japanese soldiers find you, you get to have another tin of cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he looks at the boy and he goes, from now on, you are the leader.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, it's your responsibility to take these other kids out of here, okay?
And there's a total switch from 15 minutes ago. We don't know how long they were in the room for. Huge switch.
Well, and the thing that kind of sparked all of this change of heart is that in this moment where he is watching ChaeOk try to uncover information about his mother, he has this very brief flashback of this child sitting in the snow. We don't really know who it is. We don't know if it's him or someone else that he had seen along the way, but it clearly stirred him to action.
There's something, yeah,
in this moment. So there's more to unpack in that whole arc too.
So the soldier that had heard the scream as he had walked past Sachimoto's room informs his commander, that he heard a scream, something was going on. And so they go to search Sachimoto's room. He's not there. Nothing is there. And so as they're going through the halls, they meet up with Sachimoto, and he is leading the janitor, Mr. O. And, he's pushing his cart. Mm-hmm. And they meet up with these soldiers, and TaeSang and ChaeOk manage to, I wouldn't even say it's like a door frame. It's just like a little part of the wall.
Yeah, like an outcropping in the wall where the doors would swing shut and open. Yeah.
And so it would really protect the actual wall, I would say even. They barely manage to hide behind that as they meet up with the soldiers, because if they are seen, they will be shot.
Yeah, they're pancaked on top of each other, trying not to
breathe.
Seen.
Trying to just be we can't move, we can't, we need to survive.
Yeah.
And the officer looks through the cart, and
Officer Soma,
and he, finds nothing. And as he is searching through, again, this is a simultaneous scene, we cut to the young boy pulling the rickshaw, and he is booking it. And he had been told by TaeSang, you look straight, you run straight, you don't look back, you don't stop.
You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Just get them out of here, get you out of here. And as he is running, his head's kind of down a little bit so he's not noticed, and a car comes up to the gates at the same time.
Which saves him having to be questioned.
Right. Well, and the guard looks in the car, and just from one look, just immediately is open it. There's no paper being handed of this is my ID. There's none of that. It's just nope, we open the door now. And then,
which is interesting because there's no one in or out right now.
Yeah, who's allowed to just come in whenever they please and also not have to give a form of identification. Mm-hmm. But the young boy just books it through, and the soldier almost he tries sort of to stop him, but just whatever, why should I care?
I mean, they knew he was coming back out at some point anyway because of Sachimoto's
his art supplies.
Yeah.
And so Sachimoto then, we cut back to Sachimoto and the officer Soma, and he's like, okay, do you need to look anywhere else? And he's like, well, no. And he's like, but what was that scream? And he's like, I was cleaning my room. Do I need to get permission from you to clean my room?
When I clean my room too. It's awful.
It's not fun.
But first I want to talk about that kid as he's running down the street.
Yes. Oh.
It is horrifying. The hope you have for him getting through that gate just immediately turns into heartache because he starts to like weep in the streets as he's running.
He's holding on with one hand, like wiping tears.
I mean, you see so many things go through, and this kid did such a good job. There's relief. You're out of there. There's grief. You just watched people be brutally killed
in front of you.
Children brutally killed in front of you. And he just, I don't know. The things that they had to endure.
And just, there's so much to attempt to feel.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was so sad for him. He played, the actor played that so well. It was so convincing. I didn't like it.
So the first time that we watched this, I had already finished most of the show, I think, at that point, by the time you got to this episode.
Probably.
And
this is over halfway through.
And I just started getting messages from Kim. I am not well. I can't handle this. These kids are breaking me. Because also, like, my kids look like this. Like,
it was, yeah.
I
was not.
I felt so bad.
So
Kim
hot.
was not handling, but I know because after they made it out, you were just like, okay,
thank God.
I can watch the rest of this episode now because the kids made it out, and like, it's gonna be okay now.
This set of episodes that we watched, I cried like 4 times.
It's rough.
Like being a mom and seeing things from like both the child's and the mother's perspective. Really painful.
Horrible.
Some of these scenes, it had an impact. I need chocolate.
I thought we were gonna stop eating. Well, then with this young boy, we'll just finish that whole scene out. He makes it to the pawn shop and he knocks on the door. Miss Nawa opens the door and he just hands her a note.
Right.
And she has Bomu. She's like, you need to get Mr. Gu now. And they bring the rickshaw. I'm assuming it's around back or like
in the alleyway.
Alley. Yeah. It's almost, we would call it a shop or like a garage type of, like, is what it looks like where this setting is. And the young boy is just like, she's like, okay, like, you're safe, you're okay, because she knows that this note is from TaeSang, and so like giving some information of like, you need to take care of these kids. I'm assuming that's what's in the note. I don't remember, because nothing was ever like read out loud or anything. And so he goes to the back and they lift up that compartment that they knew about, that JunTaek had been hiding underneath to get in. And
she was like, wow, 2 more.
2 more, yeah. And then he has them lift this trunk off the back and opens it, and there are 2 more inside. And the one is the little girl that had the tin of cookies, and she goes, did we win the game? Because I was told if no soldiers found me, I could get another tin of cookies.
And then she pops it open and just
starts eating.
Munches.
Oh, and she's so adorable. And Miss Nawal was just like, yeah, let's get you some food. And more cookies.
Well, just to see the innocence that was somehow preserved through this whole thing. I'm like, how?
Yeah. That had to be the older kids.
Yeah.
Trying to protect the younger kids.
Yeah. It gives me some...
Like I said, Kim was not well during this.
It reminds me of the whole kidnapping scene with What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. Children trying to protect children in the only ways they know how. And you're like, this is disgusting. I hate everything about this.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, the kids are saved. Everyone can breathe a collective sigh of relief.
Kim can move on with her life. Sachimoto and Mr. O, the janitor, they're both saying their goodbyes as to avoid suspicion. Because people are going to start noticing that they're not really doing what they need to be doing when they need to be doing it.
First, though.
Yes.
After Sachimoto is informed, asked the commander, do I need permission to clean my room every time? Officer Soma goes, nope, I'm sorry. They all walk away. And there's this collective sigh of relief of like, okay, we didn't get caught.
Yeah.
We can breathe. And TaeSang and ChaeOk turn and face each other, and their noses are like 3 centimeters apart. And
He's
Taesong
kinda-
is just like, oh no, what do I do?
He's got like the Playboy hands on the wall over her head sort of position. It wasn't anything.
Other than like protect you if something were to happen.
Their arms have to be out of sight too, so he
Yeah.
had to lift them up, and then that was just the simplest way to, and also to kind of like usher her in so that they're all just sort of like compact in there.
Rather than like against the wall, because you could still potentially be
Right.
seen that way.
And then they realize kind of
How
where
close
they
they are. Like, and yeah, Taesong just is like, and just realizes that his arm is like still blocking her in, and she's just like,
you gonna move, buddy?
we need to go. Like, let's.
I know I'm beautiful, but this is not the time or place.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, now. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So Sachimoto and Mr. O, the janitor, they're both saying their goodbyes is to avoid suspicion. Because they've been spending a lot of their time away from their quarters, away from where they need to be doing their jobs, and it's probably going to start catching attention soon, which is neither good for them nor for the team that's inside.
Right.
So it wasn't just a selfish thing. TaeSang and ChaeOk, TaeSang asked ChaeOk and Chungwon to leave at this point, as at this point their contract has been fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
They did find MyeongJa, and he provided Sachimoto, so really their contract is met.
Yeah, done.
But ChaeOk, that scared the crap out of me.
Oh, hello.
Woo! Okay. That's good to know, though. ChaeOk does insist, though, that they stay until MyeongJa is retrieved, because she feels like that would be her fulfilling her end of the contract.
Right.
But truthfully, you just see in Taesong's eyes that he's like, I cannot bear you being in danger anymore.
Like
you
I am
need to
dying now.
Get out, woman. Well, so I can concentrate on what I need to do, because my thoughts are filled with you.
And I have a job I have to fulfill.
Yeah, and if I'm worrying about you getting caught and being disemboweled on a table someplace this whole time, which I guess they aren't really worried about yet because they haven't seen that. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, he's very
concerned.
he's not handling this well, because he's like, no, I need you to get out.
Yeah.
Like, I can find it. We're good. And they put like the map, because Sachimoto has been informing them between him and Mr. O, the janitor, just kind of getting a better idea of what this map entails.
Right.
What is where, how to get to these places. And they're bickering over the map of like, he takes it and he's like, I'm going to take this now. She takes it. They go back and forth. And finally, JaeOk just grabs him and just like pulls him in and is like, you're really annoying. You keep making me repeat myself. Like, I'm going to keep my end of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, wait, do I really do that? And he is now like butterflies in the stomach, kind of just like, why did she pull me so close? And like, I already can't focus. And you're like, you got me in, and now you're calling me out on something that I don't think I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
Almost. And she's like, you know what? I'm just going to lead the way. Try not to get lost.
It's like two alphas that are suddenly trying to vie for the the leadership position, and he's just like, well, she's prettier than me, so I guess she can lead.
Right. Well, and then as this is happening, Jungwon and JunTaek are just watching this whole scene unfold, and JunTaek just like pats him on the shoulder, and he's like,
Attaboy.
you got this. It'll be okay.
Because he can clearly see what's happening.
Oh, everybody else can.
Yeah.
They're not in a position at this moment in time to like think about that.
No.
Jungwon also just tells him, you know what, don't mind her. She just takes her promises really seriously. And I'm wondering, almost as like her dad, if he's just like, I kind of am enjoying this, because this is not like, I don't see this side of my daughter like ever. She's not like, it's not flirty.
See,
but it's almost like she's taken an interest in somebody.
Yeah.
Type of like.
I had wondered, though, if he, in this moment, is like, can you please let her focus so she can get out of here alive?
I would like my daughter to survive, please.
But on the other hand, yeah, being able to see your daughter be a human and feel reassured that she does still have some of those lingering desires, and it's not just, you know, full steam ahead and
Right.
toward death every day. I don't know. So Lady Maeda was the mystery figure in the car. She has arrived in the middle of the night to warn Dr. Ichiro that TaeSang, master of House of Golden Treasure, is concealed inside of the hospital along with some buddies of his. And he basically is like, there's no way. And she's like, there is.
There is, though.
Trust me. So as the team is
Well, and
now...
it makes it interesting. Sorry, I'm going to cut in.
Yeah.
Why is Lady Maeda visiting?
Well, we
At this
already
time of
know-
night. But at this time of night.
We already know she wears the pants.
Well, we do, but it's almost like, why do you... Because, I mean, we can tell. Ichiro doesn't quite understand. I don't think yet, perhaps. You don't really know what you're doing. There's a reason that she's allowed to come in and out as she pleases. And if she comes in with information like somebody has gotten into the hospital, you might want to listen to her.
Yeah.
Like, you don't tell the person who actually knows what's going on, no, that's not possible. That's not real. So they have made their way to the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same rooftop where they had all been previously, where they had, you know,
The kids had escaped.
the
with
kids
her.
escaped from. And as they go to the vent so they can get down into the system and make their way around. And this is when JunTaek sees the soldiers that have been tied up. Because, I mean, it's not like ChaeOk and her dad was like, yeah, let's just kill everyone in sight. It was, I mean, that's not who they are. It's definitely more of a keep them tied up.
Yeah.
Maybe knock them out. Because I think he puts like needles in them or something like that.
I think he acupunctured them to unconsciousness, actually.
I think so. And so that's, I mean, they are very, they have humanism, love for humankind. But JunTaek is like, he sees them, and as everybody's making their way down, he's like, I'll be right there. I'm just gonna take a quick look around, and goes over to the soldiers and ends up grabbing a sword, and he just murders all of them. Mm-hmm. And as he's doing this, now I don't know, I've never swung a sword before, so no experience here, but I would feel like maybe lifting it all the way up above your head in the moonlight is probably not a very good idea.
No. Well, you do that when you want to actually decapitate somebody in one swing.
Right. This is not... You could just stab them in the heart.
Yeah.
And
Granted,
be done.
that still takes a lot of effort, but it's less swingy.
Yes,
or
it is.
even just slicing their throats. But this was a crime of passion.
Mm-hmm. He's enraged at everything going on.
Yeah.
But as he's doing this, on another watchtower, a guard actually sees the sword swinging up above and coming back down, and swinging back up and coming back down, and they just like whistles or something, and they are like, somebody needs to go check out what's going on that rooftop.
Yeah.
There's something happening. And so all of these soldiers run and learn that all of their comrades have been brutally murdered.
I mean, it wakes up the whole camp. Everybody is now on high alert. We even see
there are
Yeongwon.
intruders now.
He's like taken out of his tripod position, and they all have to get dressed and ready to enter the hospital. I felt like this was a weak plot point.
Yeah.
Truthfully. Because if we adhere to the idea of why he was there, and we see later on down the road the way that he acts in trying to get what he came for,
Right.
this doesn't add up for me.
It's just a
It felt like
revenge point.
It felt like weak writing. It felt like a way to alert the guards.
Yeah, almost, rather than...
Which for me, I'm just like, why not have one of the tied up guys like wake up and blow a whistle?
Because then we wouldn't be following the gore of the show.
I know. Sorry. It's me overthinking.
So everybody's going through the vents, and ChaeOk is leading the way, and they drop down into the room where ChaeOk had found the kids. And as TaeSang lands, he is not well because of all of his injuries. And then he looks around and realizes on the shelves all of the monstrosities of heads, body parts, all in jars. And then, a minute later, JunTaek drops down in, and he sees the same thing and has the same reaction as TaeSang of just like, oh, okay, I want to leave now. Like, this is horrible that this is happening.
So we pivot and we go back to Lady Maeda, and we learn that truly her investment in this situation is that she wants MyeongJa's baby and won't allow any harm to actually come to MyeongJa until this baby is born, which I have in all capital letters. Why?
Yeah.
For the baby specifically is very odd.
It's very terrifying, actually.
Especially considering what we had just seen in that laboratory with the jarred unborn children. I mean, there's no nice way to say it.
Right.
This could mean something horrible for these kids. And I mean, just thinking about something else I learned this week was that, like in North Korea, you know how they punish 3 generations of people?
Yeah.
That if you don't have an immediate family, they'll pair a male and a female prisoner, force them to have a child. That child will live the entirety of its life in the prison, be paired with another child prisoner. And then the third child is the only one that has a chance of seeing the outside world. But that middle child
will never
see the light
That
of
is
day.
horrifying.
And that in and of
Just like the
itself
process.
is awful to think about.
Right.
But we don't even know if it would be that much of a kindness
Yeah.
in this
I mean, they had
context.
children in cells who clearly had to watch
being experimented on.
something. Yeah. And to be stuck in the same room as all of the quote-unquote specimens that have now been saved in jars.
Blech.
Nightmares.
Nightmare fodder for sure. And we're like approaching
Awkward
30.
laughing. Awkward laughing.
So uncomfortable. So the creature, MyeongJa, is being moved to an alternate holding cell.
Yes.
So it's on a completely different part of the hospital. No one else is there. And she's basically pleading with them to not hurt her or hurt her baby.
Yeah, she's begging for her life.
Yeah, and her
Again.
baby's life. Yeah, I mean, she has no idea. She's seen some things that
Right.
she can't really explain. And there's just no telling what's happening. It's clear that her relationship with the commissioner has zero power here.
Right. Well, and she's screaming bloody murder, as she should, as she's being dragged to this new location, and the creature hears her screams as she's being transported. And
Kind of wanders over to the elevator
or to like a wall near it,
and just like whoop,
slices a
hole right
not even a
through it.
hole, it's like claws.
Yeah,
Just
rakes through
and
parts of the wall.
is like still trying to listen for that scream because it's a different scream than when this creature is unaliving people and they're terrified. This is a different type of scream, and there's almost like that she can differentiate that.
Yeah.
That it's a different type of fear. It's not a fear of her.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But she starts to eyeball the lever that runs the lift. And this is a really unsettling moment when you realize more and more that this creature has cognition.
Yeah.
And a little bit of control.
And it's becoming more powerful.
And can problem solve.
Yeah, and that's getting stronger.
Yeah.
The problem solving is strengthening.
Mhm.
And that's very scary.
I don't know. We keep saying things are scary, and that's the whole point of this show, but it's really scary.
Yes.
So the guards that took MyeongJa are seen entering the lift. When the commanding officer is entering the lift, himself gets lifted by the neck, has an extremity ripped off.
Oh, I think he just gets ripped in half. Regardless.
It was a leg.
Regardless, it was horrible.
So at this point, the creature now has free range of the upper level of the facility, of the holding facility, and is literally tearing through military personnel like they're ragdolls.
Oh, everything is getting destroyed. Because she has all these arms that come out of her back. So she can
tendrils.
Like, pick up people, impale them, chuck
They're
them.
very sharp tendrils.
It's... Oh. Just like the idea of it makes you squirm. Because you're just like...
A little bit.
Oh, but she is just demolishing everyone in sight.
Just a rampage.
And like there's even like one scene of one of the men like on like army crawling through like these crates. Like, you're not supposed to be able to be seen. Doesn't matter. She finds him and just like throws him against the wall. She's slamming people into walls, like dragging them.
Doesn't seem like she's eating them though at this point.
No, she's just killing.
So it's just spite. It's like
The pettiness is real.
It's like the cats that kill mice out of boredom after you leave
and
them
just keep
alone
playing
for too
with it.
long.
No,
Yeah.
they just play with it and they don't kill it. Just tap it a little bit more. I have cats. I've watched them. It's
awful.
poor
Cats
mouse.
are psychopaths, but fuzzy psychopaths, so we keep them around.
Yes. True. So Ichiro tells
Soma.
doesn't Ichiro tell the men that there's intruders on the lower levels?
Yeah, he tells Soma.
And yeah, he tells Soma. And so I believe it's TaeSang and ChaeOk and everybody, like, they hear this and like, oh, we have to come up with a new plan then, because they hear it through the vents, right?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I just have the crew has to change their original plan of how to get around. So I'm pretty sure they
I
hear
believe
it.
you.
Or like the soldiers are running around or like, we need to check here, here, and here. And so they're like, okay, well, we need to now figure out a different way to get from point A to point B now. And one of the soldiers on the roof, after, they saw the sword going up and down, like, hears something.
He happens to see that the vent covering is ajar.
It's not fully shut, and he just kind of is like, huh.
Seems like a coincidence. Happy little
Interesting.
coincidence.
And so he climbs down, and
Which is really kind of stupid.
at least let someone know where you're at,
Well,
dum-dum.
no, if you think someone has entered the facility unauthorized, you take 15 people with you.
Yeah, you don't go alone.
Why would you go by yourself?
Hey, you know what? If you weren't smart enough to plan ahead, doom on you.
Doom on you.
Ice Age.
I like it.
So he makes it down to the bottom of the ladder right as everyone has passed where that little section of the vent leads to. And so they make it to a supply room that has a laundry chute so they can make it down a level. And as they get to that room, TaeSang is the last person out, and he is putting the vent cover up and sees that there is a soldier in the vents. And was like, we need to move. We need to get out of here. And everybody makes it down the laundry chute, and ChaeOk lands, and then TaeSang lands right next to her. But he's also hurting so bad.
Yeah.
That he like stares at her for a minute, but then at the same time he's like, physically, like, I can't move. Like, it's not because I don't just want to lay here with you forever. I can't move because I've been stabbed already tonight before coming in.
But neither she nor her father are aware of this information at this
because
point.
he is refusing.
Well, he says to her, Jongwon says to them, "Are you okay?" And Taesong's like, "I'll be fine. Don't worry about me." He like reaches past him to ChaeOk. "Are you okay?" She's like, I'm fine.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. And TaeSang, gets out, and he's like almost falling as he gets out of this, and they're like, okay, we need to go. And right as they start to step, TaeSang hears something and begins to reach inside his jacket, and the soldier just lands behind them, and he already has his rifle pointed because he's like, I know they're down there. And he, has them all stop, and he takes the gun from TaeSang, and everybody's just kind of like, it's like a moment of like, everybody's frozen. Nobody's quite sure who's going to move first. And I don't remember. Is it ChaeOk that moves first, or is it TaeSang? I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
I believe it's TaeSang.
I think it's TaeSang
because then she comes in with the knife
right behind.
And
it is an intense fight between TaeSang and this soldier, and ChaeOk's in there. He's throwing them like against the wall. Well, TaeSang also is very injured.
Yeah, he's disabled TaeSang, and which I'm like, okay.
It kind of made me go like, how are you this strong?
No, there are 2 other dudes in that room.
Oh, then there's
watching. That. I have a note in here. I'm like, weak writing. TaeSang struggles with the guy with the gun while ChaeOk is unconscious after she gets knocked unconscious.
Yeah, he's
Jungwon's instinct is to go stand over her and just completely ignore the fact that the guy with the gun is still upright over there.
Fighting TaeSang.
And it's not just like, oh, once he's done with TaeSang, he's going to stop and be like, oh, is your daughter okay? He's going to kill them all.
Right.
So wouldn't your thinking as a protector...
We need to take him out.
To be, subdue the guy, kill him, then tend to your daughter. 20 seconds tops if all 3 of them jump on this guy.
Well, and then JunTaek is no better. He just stands there.
No, he sneaks out.
Well, he stands there and is watching TaeSang and the soldier, like, because the soldier has the handgun and is pointing it at TaeSang's head. And TaeSang's fighting him off, and JunTaek just looks at him, opens the door, and runs out.
He literally, I have in here, he sentenced his friend to death in that moment.
Yes. Infuriating. At this moment, I really don't like him. He's very infuriating. Like, I understand he has his own purpose of being there, but they're gonna come for you too.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. It was just poor choreography, poor writing in my opinion.
It made me so mad.
I understand JunTaek slipping away. I do not understand Jungwon not helping.
Yeah, being somewhat useful.
Yes.
Throw something. At the very least.
Anyway, we could talk about this all night. Won't change the fact that it was stupid.
Clearly, we're very upset about this. So after JunTaek has run out the door, the Japanese soldier and TaeSang have ended up back into the basket. The laundry had
hamper.
Yeah. And the soldier is on top of TaeSang, and they are fighting so hard. And as ChaeOk is like coming to, and Jungwon is just like, are you okay? Again, what about the guy fighting the soldier? They hear a gunshot. And that is when it's, oh
yeah.
Is he okay? Did he die? Well, how would you know? You've been ignoring him this whole time. Get off that soapbox. They go over. TaeSang manages to push off the soldier, and he is just covered in blood. But this is
covered
when they
in sweat too.
And oh yeah, I mean, they've been running through vents, which I'm sure are very hot. But this is when they see the stab wound on his torso from, before he even got into the hospital.
Yeah.
And they realize that he's actually in really, really rough shape.
Yep. It's starting to bleed again.
And yeah, it has opened up. Whatever, the little bit of bleed stop he had put on there beforehand.
It's gone.
It is no longer doing its job.
While this has all happened, the creature has actually made its way to the upper levels of the facility. It's no longer in the containment area. It is in the hospital.
Yeah.
And there's just this interesting moment where I think for me it was like a show of restraint, that she's like she's aware of what she's doing.
Right.
Because there's 2 guards outside of the elevator shaft, and the tendril goes past the first one, like along his head.
Touches his cheek.
Like caresses it.
That's what I have written too.
Is it?
Yes.
It like caresses his cheek, goes to the guy behind him, and then loops around him. And then, that's kind of all we see in that moment. But
right.
I think it was just sort of, like you had said, a revenge arc at this point for her.
Like, you treated me like this.
You made me into this, and now you made that bed, you lay in it.
Suck it up, buttercup.
While I was back in the laundry room.
Oh, no. Ooh. Okay.
Back in the laundry room, Jungwon is watching TaeSang and ChaeOk as she patches him up with fresh bandages.
Or bleed stop.
And he is sensing a little chemistry between the two.
Mm-hmm. Well, so is TaeSang.
Yeah.
He's like, almost like trying not to scream because it's so painful, but then also like, I cannot be aware of how close our proximity is right now.
Yeah.
Like
And also,
hey, look at the wall.
I can't cry in front of the girl that I like.
I can't cry in front of my crush.
But I think just like what we were talking about earlier, I was trying to read the expression on his face this second time around too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I quite could put my finger on it until we talked about like he has this hope that his daughter would still have
a life.
Dreams of something else. And so I think part of him was like, my little girl. And then the other part of him was like, thank goodness she has a heart and a soul still.
Yes, that everything that she has seen and gone through hasn't completely wrecked her.
Right.
Because that's very, very, that's a total possibility.
Oh, yeah.
You've completely destroyed the person inside.
I would be one of those people.
You never know.
Probably would have walked off a building a long time ago.
Let's
Not on
hope
purpose. I try to parkour down, I just miss.
Yeah, me too. Falling off the truck. I'd get hit by the truck before I'd,
You're just like on the windshield like, this is how it ends.
Pretty much.
So Jungwon tells TaeSang that he should stay on the 2nd level while Jungwon will take the 3rd. And so ChaeOk is like, all right, we'll go to the 3rd level. And he's like, no, look at him.
He's too injured.
He's half a person. You need to stay with him and help him. This is clearly a dynamic shift for these two.
Yeah, they're always together.
They have always been together. They have always only had each other to trust. And suddenly, he's essentially asking her to put her life in TaeSang's hands in some ways. Because they have to have each other's backs. And also, he's a handicap. Let's just be honest here. The guy is hobbling. He's hop-along. Like
he is hop-along. And this is not his field, even if he wasn't. This is not his...
he deals in information, not in breaking and entering and...
smuggling people in and out of buildings.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't get his hands dirty. So I think the only reason she agreed to it is because her father asked her to. But you can see that she was not comfortable with the idea.
Right. It was a stressing...
Yeah. It was logical, but it was stressful.
Yeah. Well, and then her dad tells her, we're going to meet back at this place in an hour because this is the most efficient way. And you know the rules.
Right.
If, something happens within that, if I'm not there, you get out. Mm-hmm. Under any circumstance, you get out at this time.
Yeah.
This is how we're supposed to do it. And the look on her face, again, is that same thing of like, I'm only doing this because it's you asking me.
Yeah.
We know she's not going to because she already had, had this whole little type of squabble with TaeSang earlier of like, I have not fulfilled my end of the deal.
Right. Yeah.
So we already know that she's very much not going to listen to
she's
that
got
instruction.
Her own prerogatives, her own ways of thinking about things. So ChaeOk and TaeSang are moving down a dark hallway and comment on some gunshots that have actually been ringing through the facility. ChaeOk moves into a room And TaeSang moves into this open hall area in front of an elevator where he notices there's just a few bodies on the floor. Totally normal.
Well, and just like the atmosphere is very unsettling.
Yes. It's like one of those liminal spaces when they walk into that area. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's like before the bodies, he's just like, something's
It's
not
all quiet.
right. Like, what?
Why are we getting away with walking around here without hearing any soldiers or anything?
Right. Like, there's something wrong.
Yeah. So bodies have hit the floor. Hit the ground. He sees this man half alive being hung by his head, just like floating in around the corner, groaning as like his life force is being sucked out of his skull by the creature. And the creature tosses this guy at TaeSang, and he just like stares at him in shock because he's like, "That didn't just happen, did it?"
What am I looking at
This
here?
went from human experimentation to what goes bump in the night.
Oh, but scarier.
Yeah.
So much worse. Well, at the same time, ChaeOk hears a sound in the room.
This
and
gets her attention, yeah.
She just looks up, and the creature just walks by the window, and the look on her face is just like,
We're in
this
way
is
over
how
our
I
heads.
die. This is not good. This is
I
my
have a knife.
what is it? What is the book? His Really Bad Not Good Day or whatever.
The no good, horrible.
Yeah,
very-
like that is the situation that they are in.
I just had a mini stroke trying to remember.
It's okay. So did I.
The terrible, no good, very
Bad
horrible, very bad.
situation moment.
I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, there was just like that. This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
None of us signed up
and
for this.
That guy, he's dead. TaeSang's dead. Goodbye.
Okay, well,
Checking out for the day.
I gotta go.
But yeah, they both lay eyes on this creature for the first time, which is apparently strong enough to break down infrastructure.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, her tendrils just wrap around
Like the load-bearing pillars.
beams.
And just like... Yeah,
Like
these
lights.
were concrete.
She's growling, and it's like a low growl. It's not like a ferocious, like attacking sound. It's just like a,
Here I come.
I
Ready
woman,
or
hear me
not.
roar. But yeah, she is just growling.
Yep.
And Taesong's like, she gets closer to Taesong, and he's just staring like crap.
And that's where we end episode 4.
I'm so glad again that we streamed, because I don't think if this had been a week-to-week show.
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. It dropped
Yeah, the first 7.
the first 7 and then
The last 3.
the last 3. But if it had been a week-to-week, none of us would be okay. I have a hard
Especially
enough
not
time.
TaeSang.
Especially not TaeSang, and you'd have to wait a whole week.
Right? Okay.
And then
Okay, so character of the hour?
oh,
And it doesn't have to... It just like
I don't
notable character.
know. I honestly, I have a couple that I just kind of appreciate. Like, I really, honestly, like, I appreciate Sachimoto.
Mm-hmm.
And he's willing to answer questions and willing to get them out of there.
Yeah.
And helps, smuggle them out. But also he's not willing to break ChaeOk's heart, because it's almost like he can tell, like, this is not the time where she can handle this information. And so I really appreciate him in this episode. But then also just that young boy of getting
Yes.
everyone out and, like, being forced to do such an intense, mature action
And hold it together as well
and
as he
keep it
did.
together. Like,
Granted, it was a befitting situation for someone who to just like slip past, like doing something physical
right.
versus having to explain your way out of something to different things.
Right.
So
Especially for his age. But
Yeah.
he just, I mean,
handled it like a pro.
handled it. And I mean, he's running down the street and he's crying it. He's still running. He is doing exactly
He's
what he
like,
was told.
As much distance between here and
Right.
there
I'm
as
going to
possible.
get to House of Golden Treasure. Like, I'm going to do what I was told to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think those two are my characters that I would say stood out to me the most in a very positive way. Who's yours? I know this episode's kind of hard because there's some real suck moments with characters.
I feel like my least favorite character of the hour is JunTaek.
Oh, absolutely. Boy, you were on my hit list.
But that's not what we're about right now.
No.
I think that ChaeOk is probably mine, simply because she has convictions and she sticks to them, even if it endangers her own self. And she lives by her principles, and like that's her conscience. I in a situation where truly so many of us would be like prison rules, like this guy gets to die today, but they don't do that. They have a conscience. They
humanism.
Yeah, their humanism. I just think that a lot of us would crumble under that level of pressure, but she knows that she can't if she wants to stay human. So I just appreciate her and Jungwon, because it's obvious that it's his upbringing that has instilled this level of strength in her.
Right.
But she sticks to it, so. Parting thoughts?
Parting thoughts. I hope they don't die.
I mean, there's a few more episodes. So there's a few more episodes,
right? But man, this creature, the fact that she is
self-aware,
and becoming more and more restrained, is very interesting.
Because they refer to her as a mindless killing machine. Well,
a monster.
She's clearly not a mindless killing machine.
Right,
she's just a killing machine.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that she heard MyeongJa screams and just, sliced through the wall and was just like, I'm not okay with those screams. Like, there was almost like you could see the wheels turning of like, I don't like that type of scream.
Yeah.
Almost. And then looking at the elevator lever. I mean, that was
their own fault. They put a button in there that she had access to.
You put the lever inside the elevator.
You couldn't even make it a button so she'd like punch through it if she tried to push it. You make it a lever so it's super easy for something without hands to... Just kidding. Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at The KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on The KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.